Good morning, Scott here, known as Cantaloupe to some online, and I'm bringing another video to you on a subject that's interesting to me. It might be of interest to you or someone you know, and that is the importance of presuming innocence. And I'm going to make a special example from my own history, something that I've experienced in life, and um, hopefully wrap it up within a few minutes. So, the presumption of innocence is important because the ultimate reason is that the alternative, a presumption of guilt, means that the only way to fight accusations is with actual evidence of innocence. And that may not exist, but it doesn't necessarily mean you're guilty. So let me say that a slightly different way. In the absence of evidence, that is, no evidence, if we're presuming someone to be guilty, they are convicted. They are damned. They are already, it's a foregone conclusion in the absence of evidence, which is really easy, right? So you can, block evidence, or maybe there was none to begin with. If everybody is tasked with defending every accusation at the, with no evidence, how do you do that? You can't disprove something that never existed. So it's a logical problem. And so we being modern civilization have adopted a better system that hopefully, in principle, that a presumption of innocence is critical. It's the cornerstone of our legal justice system, and so on. But here's what happens, actually. And the attitude that I've seen among law enforcement, among court employees, among everybody involved in it, is that if you hadn't done something, you wouldn't be in trouble. Hold on a second. So I want to point out that something is usually done for a person to get in trouble. I'll give you that. But it's very often not something that they did themselves. And it's a very sad tragedy many, many times that when somebody is victimized, that is, they are abused, or a crime is committed against them, especially by an authority or a person in power, it is doubled down to make it look like they deserved it or did something to deserve it. They are framed, in other words. So the thing to worry about, and the thing, unfortunately, many times that gets somebody in trouble or locked up or whatever, isn't necessarily that they did something. It's that something was done to them, and then there's an effort to cover it up. Okay, this happens. And whether it happens or not, logically, it should be a concern. To say that the only reason someone gets in trouble with, perfect surveillance is that they did something to deserve it, how are you not overlooking the fact that authorities can and do misbehave historically all the time? And in that case, it becomes easier for them to find a scapegoat, to throw someone under the bus, so to speak. Okay, so I don't want this to be a long grind my gears video. It's not, but I hear this all the time. I hear the attitude and the actual words that you get what you deserve, as if people do not influence your situation, as if people do not have a role in how things unfold, as if it's not a group effort. I beg your pardon. we're all affecting this reality collectively. Each one of us has free will within, some other plan, if you will. And I don't want to dive down that rabbit hole, but you can make a choice. When you woke up this morning, you had a plan. I'm 100% sure you did something on purpose. It's the on purpose part that proves that you have free will. You did what you wanted, and it might not be some big thing, or it might be some big thing, but either way, you have a choice, and you affect your local reality and the people in it. You affect me if we communicate. You affect me if we associate. So to say that I'm getting only what I deserve by my own choices, that's just not, it doesn't even make sense. Okay, because I know for a fact that I can influence you and your situation. I can very easily do that. And I know I choose to make things better. That's who I am, but not everybody's like that. And a lot of people who are attracted to positions of power, I want to wrap up with this last point. People who are attracted to power are typically the kind of people who are compensating for something. That there's oftentimes, and I'm not trying to say that every time, but many times there's an insecurity, some kind of inferiority complex where they become control addicts. They want to control other people because it's a product of being abused or ridiculed or just having inferiority or insecurity, like I said. So they gravitate towards positions of authority and power where they can control people, where they can uh, take away opportunities for people to do bad things to them. It's a reflex. It's a survival mechanism. But unfortunately, this personality type is also prone to corruption. And you don't have to take my word for this. There are academic psychological studies. There's data. There's research. There's history itself. Open a history book. You don't have to believe me. Look at the prominent figures in history who are not remembered favorably, and they have common traits between them. They have patterns of behavior, and their speech, their ideologies, they have an expectation of failure many times, and they are every one of them, domineering. And I think that there are victims. There are two kinds of victims. There's the victims who are actually abused by these people, by stronger people or people with advantages, and then there's people who are victims of ignorance, people who just trust a little bit too much. Maybe they don't question things enough. They believe what they're told, and they are programmed by an unscrupulous authority to believe that everyone gets what they deserve, and they have no one to answer to but themselves. I'm not sure how much more evidence you need. I'm going to keep making videos. In fact, I have tons of videos that I can make, true stories that I can share. And maybe if someone has the time to watch them, they will believe me, because it's true. It's 100% true. You can be abused. It happens. Abuse is a real thing. And I'm hearing people say that if you get abused, it's because you did something to deserve it. And that is a lie. Many, many times. People take things that they shouldn't. Things that don't belong to them. And then they double down and abuse the person they took it from to create a situation where people think that person deserved whatever's happening. So God bless you for thinking that people get justice. The only justice people get is the justice that you give them directly, that you know about, that you can vouch for, and that you intended to give them. Have a great day, and reach out with questions or comments to whitehotrobot@gmail.com. Thank you.